Line up, you f***ing nerds. Who wants a shot at the champ?
They bring the heat.
Francis Ngannou is the hardest puncher in the history of fighting.
They bring the knowledge.
If you think this fight is going 5 rounds, you are out of your mind.
They bring you the picks.
The dog is getting it done in this one.
We deliver every single week. We're bringing the heat, ladies and gentlemen.
The money line.
Don't miss it on the MMA Experts channel each week. The money line. We are live. We got UFC Sao Paulo coming up this Saturday, and we're going to break the whole thing down. I am AJ, joined as always by my guy, Mike Finch. How you doing, my friend?
I'm good, brother. Happy Halloween out there to everybody. I hope you're all enjoying it as much as AJ and I are. AJ, I said greaser. I went with greaser. I tried to have him put down the hat, but it's blasphemy. It's against AJ's religious beliefs. He has to have the hat on. I think you can recognize mine.
Yeah, I think you are Batman.
I had my Halloween party last night, so that's what this is from. My entire place looks ridiculous thanks to my wife. So this is from Hercules. This is the underworld. I was Hades with the blue hair. So
yes.
I'm the god I've always wanted to be.
I like it, man. I like Finch as Spider-Man. You look like Peter Parker, Mike.
I thought it works, right? I mean,
yeah.
I've been doing jiu-jitsu. I'm a little lean right now. There we go.
Parkour? You climbing up walls or anything like that?
Pretty much, dude. You know where I've been. I was at Yosemite National Park. I was at Sequoia National Park. I was climbing up to Vernal Falls and Nevada Falls this time, so I did the harder hikes. So, yeah, I've been a bit of a chimpanzee, man. I've been climbing all over the place.
Yeah, let's go, my man. I got to bring up this comment real quick. No, the comments are not non-existent, Chris. It's just me and Finch are chopping it up so we don't get to everything. But, you know, we'll try to bring comments up, man. Don't
every single donation we always bring up. And if you guys have relevant questions, like while we're talking about that fight, you have a question about that fight, you're much more likely to get in. If you're gonna say some shit about AJ's hat or something and we're already on the Jailton Almeida fight, we're probably gonna focus for the sake of the content.
Yes, good man, Finch. Listen, we have a great card this weekend. Obviously, it was an off week for the UFC last Saturday, but it was a spectacle event that is more than worth talking about. I want to talk about a couple of my thoughts on the event overall first, and then we're going to get into this main event. I'm going to tell you this. As far as the actual heavyweight boxing that went on, I watched every single fight, and I thought there are some great prospects in the heavyweight division that are exciting to watch. And I honestly think it was a great card for boxing overall as far as the actual fights. Downside, delays between each fight that, to me, make Bellator look like they take no time between fights. I am sitting here for such long periods of time, and I'm glad you're bringing this up with the chat, but it's hell. The production is good when the fight's on, but the in-between is overextended. They're obviously trying to take time before the fights. And you know what? About the undercard, it is what it is. But when we were waiting for this main event, it was like an hour wait. We're dealing with a performance beforehand. I don't get it. You want to do a ceremony, maybe 3 to 5 minutes of a musical song and the ring comes up under the ground? Sure. But as fight fans, we're not there to watch a concert. If I wanted to listen to X, Y, and Z musician, I would search it on YouTube, or I'd go and watch it, or, you know, put on a live stream. I don't know. But when I'm interested in watching a fight, I don't care so much about the music. I think they way overextended it with the musical production. The delays on it were rough, were really rough. And it just shows why the UFC is the premier combat sports promotion in the world, period.
You can't have all of these top celebrities flown out there. You know they're paying for these guys. People are like, they're big fans of the fight. They're big fans of getting big checks, okay? They're all out there. You've got every single star. Eminem is sitting ringside, okay? And they're making these guys wait a half hour in between fights. This is a big L. They really have to get that together. And it seems like it's a simple thing, but I'll tell you, as somebody who's worked for multiple MMA promotions, wins? It's not. It's very difficult because there are all these different moving parts. And if your teams are not all on the same page and working together, you are going to have a clunky night. That's what they were dealing with. So the audience getting a little bit bored in between fights, this is something they'll have to shore up, and I'm sure they will. You even heard like Tyson Fury made some comment about, oh, I had such a great time. And, this is their first time doing this event. I think next time they'll do even better job. You know what he's talking about. People are rumbling about how long it took in between fights. Get your shit together, guys, because it was a damn good card. Do you want to talk about this main event?
I do, man. I want to say first and foremost, a formal apology to Francis Ngannou from me. Because I did not believe that his boxing skills were to the level that he showcased. I think many would agree they didn't think that. You look at the way he was hitting pads, and I remember hearing plenty of people through Twitter comparing how slow Ngannou looked on pads versus the reality when he's in the ring. Francis Ngannou can definitely box. He just has a natural fight IQ about him, obviously killer instinct as well. And when I'm watching him sit in there with Tyson Fury, it really made me think, wow, Francis Ngannou went from, Cameroon, dreaming of doing the fight game, UFC champion, to in Tyson Fury's face. And when he put him down, I said, holy shit. I remember I said to you, Mike, if Ngannou goes the distance, that's a big win for him. And you look at it, he more than went the distance.
A lot better than that, right?
A lot better.
Yeah.
Holy hell. I think that the side of Francis Ngannou looked like a legitimate pro boxer, and his strength inside of the ring is something that I want to see more of, because something that all these other heavyweight boxers don't have that Ngannou does have, besides crazy KO power, is the fact that he's so strong in that clinch. And Tyson Fury is probably the king of the clinch as far as heavyweight boxing goes. Fury didn't have that advantage over Francis. The MMA experience, the knowledge of clinch positions was a huge factor to keep big Tyson Fury off of him. And holy hell, when Ngannou was throwing those uppercuts on the inside, they were doing damage. I thought at the end of it, we were going to get a draw. That's kind of how I felt about the scores. I thought it was probably close enough that you call it a draw. Maybe you give it 5 rounds to 5 rounds. I can see the 6-4 argument, which obviously gave Fury the slight win. If I added everything up properly, it probably is ever so slight towards Fury potentially winning on points, but I can see an argument for Ngannou. There's rounds that really not a ton was happening, and the biggest shots of the fight, Ngannou. Mike Finch, I know you were sitting there and you were in shock. You said, no fucking way. Francis Ngannou just went in there with Tyson Fury, who we all believed was a generational boxing talent. In his first pro boxing match, lost a split decision. He is. He definitely is.
I want somebody to cut Tyson Fury versus Tommy Schwartz when Tyson Fury was on those ropes using the weaves, the slips, the rolls. I want somebody to cut that with the moment in the 8th round when Francis Ngannou was just throwing hook after hook and Tyson just could not get out of the way. He was just eating them and eating them. It is so bizarre to watch. And bizarre is the word I will use, because Tyson Fury could not clinch with Francis Ngannou. Tyson Fury could not pressure Francis Ngannou back. Tyson Fury wanted to counterpunch, but Francis wouldn't give him much to work with, so he just had to keep trying to box, and he could barely do that against Francis. Francis hit so hard, but what Francis decided to do was not fight like a puncher. He was very patient in there. I believe he learned from watching Conor McGregor do this first. Patience is something that he showed. He went in there like a veteran. He used his experience that he has in mixed martial arts. So people just want to leave it as a guy making his boxing debut just beat the heavyweight champ of the world. That's a nice narrative, but in reality, Francis has used all of the experience he got from the Stipe Miocic loss, all of the experience he got in the UFC with that staring contest with Derek Lewis. I mean, he's definitely lived and learned, and you saw all of that come through, man. He was not tired in the 10th round. Francis Ngannou was winning. Again, the 8th round. Could you imagine somebody predicting that to us a couple weeks ago? Yeah, the 8th round, Francis is going to outpunch Tyson Fury. You'd be like, you've got to be kidding me. That's what we just saw. So why is a great question. I don't want to take a single thing away from Francis Ngannou, but that was by far the flattest we've ever seen Tyson Fury look. I think Eddie Hearn I disagree with pretty often, but I must say he had a point. Anthony Joshua or anybody else would have been much tougher test to deal with than a Tyson Fury matchup with Francis Ngannou. I do not believe that Tyson Fury fought to his best, AJ. Do you?
Goku, thank you for the $4.99. Fire in the chat. I see you, bro. I wanted to bring you up, my dog. We appreciate you. So,
thank you, Goku.
Francis Ngannou.
Goku's invited to the Halloween party. He could dress up with the hair and the whole deal. Thank you, Goku.
So, I think Francis Ngannou was in amazing shape. He looked incredible. He was 270 something, and he had a full six-pack and looked shredded as hell. I feel like Tyson Fury, also in the 270s, definitely looked a little pudgier than normal around the midsection, a little flatter than normal, because I don't believe he
less
took
muscular.
Francis Ngannou serious. He didn't believe that Ngannou, he trained. For sure he trained. But I think the diet was not on point for Tyson Fury. I feel like he didn't have that same fire. Like, come on, man, I'm going to outbox this guy. It's not even going to be a challenge. It was one of those fights where I think he overlooked Francis Ngannou's boxing skill. He overlooked the strength of Francis, and I don't think he respected the knockout power. So how I view the side of Tyson Fury, Francis Ngannou, is kind of like the real life Rocky with Apollo Creed. Like, holy shit, he didn't take this guy serious enough, and he ended up getting touched up. But the thing is, moving forward, is Francis Ngannou going to be significantly better in another boxing match? He just got his first boxing match. I can see improvements next time. His confidence has got to be through the roof. I would like to see it again. Problem lies that Fury is trying to work into this Usyk fight, but like timelines don't make a lot of sense. I would be willing to bet Tyson Fury after the noise quiets a bit, some weeks go by, he's going to want to prove that he's better than Francis, better than what he proved this time. Like, I think you can't go out and win a split decision against Francis Ngannou and just move forward with your boxing career when everybody questions it. Now, for Francis Ngannou, he's an interesting spot, because there's the Deontay Wilder fight that PFL seems interested in, and Wilder being open to a potential MMA fight with him. That's huge. There's also Anthony Joshua, Eddie Hearn. They would like to fight Francis Ngannou as well. And then a Tyson Fury rematch. I don't know exactly the direction that they're going to go. I don't think an immediate rematch is crazy here, but really, Ngannou has put himself in a position to fight for big money now, the biggest of money now. He is one of the best boxers in the world now. He's one of the best heavyweight boxers in the world
shit.
now.
How much respect did he earn? I mean, people were
Ton.
talking shit. People were saying this is the biggest mismatch. You know, they were giving him less credit than anybody, any of these influencer boxers even. Brother, how much have the Furies taken a hit with a damn close decision between KSI and Tommy Fury, and a damn close decision between Tyson Fury and Francis Ngannou? These guys are winning by the skin of their teeth. As far as future matchups are concerned, I think that Usyk, I might be picking over Tyson Fury if they decide to go with that fight. It seems like Tyson Fury does have to do a rematch here, and I would pick him in a rematch. I do think he probably learned a lot being in there with Francis. Francis did have a lot of unknowns with boxing gloves on in this context. So Tyson, you know, sometimes people are good at studying tape. That's John Jones, right? He didn't take Chael Sonnen on short notice because they want to study tape and truly be prepared with sequences. And Jackson Wink, their geniuses at that. And maybe, you know, maybe Tyson Fury is as well. He can adjust to your style based on your boxing matches. Well, you can't do that with Francis. I know when I was, you know, fighting, I always like to have people with footage. It's much easier to prepare when you've seen their last 5 fights and they're the same rule set. So there's that. As far as Francis Ngannou, AJ, Francis Ngannou, Deontay Wilder boxing. What fight could be better? There's no fight in the PFL that is as good as Francis Ngannou versus Deontay Wilder. Put them in 10-ounce gloves and let them go at it. I'm purchasing the pay-per-view.
I love it. Mike, let me ask you this. This event, good or bad for boxing? As a fan.
Good for boxing, although boxing fans feel like it's bad for boxing.
Yes.
So the boxing fans feel like it's bad for boxing because the heavyweight champ just got beat up by the UFC fighter. I mean, Tyson Fury is fucked up today. Look at his eyes. I mean, he, the old, look at him the day after the fight, see who won the fight. Tyson Fury got busted up, man. He could not get out of the way of some of those shots. That was crazy to watch. I can't believe that he performed like that. Again, watch his highlights next to his old fights, not the Tyson Fury I'm used to. With that being said, it's great for boxing because everybody's talking about it. Not cross promotions, not just cross sports, but just throughout culture. This is doing something. There's something new going on. And so more people will know the names of Tyson Fury. More people will know the name of Usyk, right? More people are here. Here we are on an MMA show talking about boxing. AJ, it's good for boxing.
I agree. I couldn't agree more. I think that the side of Francis Ngannou also, I think, made new fans. I think his star has grown brighter. And if you look, it's crazy to think that the UFC was so anti-Francis boxing now to see how he ended up doing. But I'll say this. I think that it was an interesting narrative Chael Sonnen spoke about that I have to give some credit to, as he said, I don't believe boxing's a sport now. If somebody can come in and compete with a world champ in that level without having done it before, it's not a sport. My understanding of his side, I get what he's trying to say because it wouldn't maybe happen anywhere else. But one thing I'll say that's, about boxing, we've always known it's the true, like the mano y mano rules. You just have hands. There's guys that also train punching that are fighting MMA. Now, for the most part, I would be shocked if any other UFC champion went into boxing and was that competitive with the current world champion. But it makes sense that if anybody's doing it, it's the hardest puncher in UFC history. It's the heavyweight knockout king. It's Francis Ngannou, who's also got a freakish frame, and Tyson Fury, who's, always known to be a little bit on the less than impressive physique side, man. Let me bring up these donos real quick.
Of
Michael
course.
Bowman
Shout
in
out
the
to
chat,
Bowman.
$20. Keeping the donos alive even when I wasn't alive. LOL. Glad to be back out of the hospital. We are very happy to have you back, my man. We appreciate the 20, Michael Bowman. You're a gem.
Michael Bowman, we wish you nothing but perfect health. Thank you so much for that donation. We're glad we can entertain you a little bit through good times and bad. And we are glad that you are out of the hospital, brother. Salute.
Let's go, Bowman, my guy.
Thank
and then
you.
the Bob with the 199. Only fight Finch is going to have is with Doc Ock.
Who is Doc Ock? What are you talking
Spider-Man,
about, Bob?
Spider-Man.
Bob, what are you
talking
about? Oh.
Mike, you just
bad.
come on, man. Spider-Man 2, bro.
Oh, yeah. I know. I got I was just talking to a matchmaker today, and I told her, because he was messaging me, you were a fighter, this and that. He's like, would you ever come out of retirement? I'm like, you give me a celebrity, you give me one of these, give me a fight that's a pay-per-view fight right away. I'm taking it for sure, so we'll see. He's like, well, when would you want to fight? I literally just talking to him this week. So I told him next weekend if he could give me a big fight. So
what organization?
That would be awesome. I want to fight. Give me a B-list celebrity and I'm in. Let's go. That's what they want to do out here. They want to make pay-per-views out of nothing. I'm in. Let's go.
What organization was that?
Should I?
I don't think
I'll message it to AJ. I'm going to message it to AJ when the show's done.
All right. Well, about Fury and Ngannou, listen, Ngannou, if anybody's doing it, it's him. He's the one that takes it long with the heavyweight champ. I think that he is an absolute monster, and I want to see it again. His career is flourished now. Leaving the UFC was the best decision of his life. And I think that him in boxing makes a ton of sense. I mean, to go back to MMA after this good of a performance in boxing, I don't think it really makes a lot of sense because the money is huge in boxing. Not that he wouldn't make a lot in MMA, but you're talking about $20+ million boxing paydays. There's nothing like it.
There's nothing like it. I mean, they're all going out of business sales, as Dana White calls them. They really just put it all around the main event and make sure they soak up all the money. And it's great for the two guys who are fighting in the main event. If you're a marquee fighter, this is great for you. If you know how to promote a fight like Tyson Fury does, it's great for you. So, I do think Francis Ngannou just put himself in the best possible scenario. And that's, not probably what the UFC wanted to see, AJ. The UFC probably did not want him to go make more money than he's made in his career fighting Tyson Fury, and which probably is going to end up being at least 2 fights, maybe a trilogy. I mean, look at what he just set up for himself. Congratulations to Francis Ngannou. It's a success story.
Yeah, I'm absolutely mesmerized by him. God bless Francis, and we look forward to more. But we got to talk UFC Sao Paulo. We got a card this weekend, Mike. I want to drop the picks for it all. So, guys, if you're watching and enjoying, make sure you smash that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. Let's get into the first fight of the UFC Sao Paulo card. We got, first and foremost, Marc Diakiese versus Kauê Fernandes. Now, this fight here, I was flip-flopping a bit. Early prediction, I was kind of thinking Fernandes, and I did pick him on my early pick show. But then on the official breakdown, I said, man, I think that's a mistake on my end. I'm officially going with the side of Marc Diakiese. I have to warrant the UFC experience as a viable factor. I have to bring into consideration the fact that Kauê Fernandes is not proven against UFC caliber guys. He's got some quick knockout wins, but 3 fights ago, he did lose by a decision, and in that last round was outworked by his opponent. I believe Diakiese's a workhorse. We know he is an athletic striker, but let's be honest here. He knows how to embrace the grind and wrestle, especially against guys that aren't tremendous wrestlers. Kauê Fernandes is not a great wrestler. He does have decent submission offense, but he's got really good kicks. I would say he shines most in the striking. So I got to go with Diakiese. I'm going to say a decision win for Diakiese, though, Mike.
Yeah, I love Fernandez's picture. He is just so shaded. That is a tremendous. I'm joking. I'm messing around with AJ. Marc Diakiese he's got quite the tan, brother. He's more tan than my back. Can you guys tell what this is? This is the underworld. Can they see this? They can't really see this, can they? It's all dark. I just see like 2 red dots above my head. I think Diakiese wins this because he's a veteran, and that's not against Fernandes, though. I don't really want to bet against Fernandes. I do think he stands a chance. His striking is also good. He's got a lot of knockouts, but Diakiese is the UFC vet, and how many times have we seen this happen where the UFC vet holds his spot? So Marc Diakiese, I think they'll strike, and I think it'll be enough in Diakiese's world where he'll be able to squeak out 29-28 decision.
Odds for the fight are very close. Marc Diakiese is a minus 124 favorite with Kauê Fernandes at plus 104. And then Diakiese by a decision sits at plus 140. Yeah, not one of my favorite. I mean, I don't think Diakiese's a crazy attack because of his UFC experience. And I really think he can outpace Fernandes late, and the line is damn close. It would be a maybe consideration later in the week. We'll see how they face off at weigh-ins, but Diakiese's not a bad straight money line onslaught, being he's got a ton of UFC experience taking on someone who hasn't fought anybody at this level before.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's a big step up for him, you know? But that being said, I'm not running to go bet against him, AJ. It'll probably be a good fight.
I think so. Good fight, but we're going to pick Diakiese, first fight of the night, and let's keep running. Next fight on the card, we have an exciting matchup between Montserrat Conejo and Eduarda Moura. I believe that the side of Eduarda Moura has a clear grappling advantage that she is going to exploit here. I don't think Conejo has a super versed and well-rounded game at this point. She got beaten up by Amarim pretty dominantly last time out. I think Moura could submit Conejo earlier than Amarim was able to do. I've kind of said I like the idea of Moura versus Amarim sometime in the future. I think they will eventually cross paths. It's like a battle of Brazilian grappling prospects. I'm going to say Moura submits Conejo. I'm thinking first round. I think she runs through her easily than Amarim, more easily.
Yeah, I mean, Conejo's got this nice headlock she uses, and there's a couple things in the grappling that could be hiccups, but I'm going to go with Ronda as well, and I think everybody sees that here. She'll probably be able to employ her game nicely. Not a ton of danger from Conejo outside of those couple of techniques. You know, Moura should feel very, very confident with this one. She'll probably perform well. She'll probably get a finish, AJ. You think submission early?
I think submission. I think she is going to lock it up, man. She's dominant on the ground, and
yeah,
the bookies know it. You know what the odds are? Minus 500 for Moura, plus 375 for Montserrat Conejo. So they're damn wide. Even a sub win for Moura, it's not terrible. It's plus 165.
Yeah, I know. So the only thing you could really do is consider like a parlay with this one. I mean, that's a little wide to bet, but you got to be confident in her. I mean, you know, Ruiz, a little bit more experienced, been in the UFC longer. You've got to like that. Definitely fought probably more of a wealth of talent, but come on, man. Eduarda Moura looks like a beast. The odds will probably get wider after this beatdown. So I like it, and you might consider it in a parlay.
Yeah, we're going Moura for the win. I think she could be a parlay piece. I think she's running over Conejo in Brazil. Let's keep going. Next fight on the card. We have Angela Hill versus Denise Gomes. I'm going with the OG. I'm going with Angela Hill. I think she can strike with Denise Gomes and avoid her biggest shots, out kickbox her in a hard 3-round fight. I don't think this is an easy matchup by any means. Obviously, Angela Hill's an underdog in this spot against Gomes, who's riding 2 sick knockout wins, KO of Yasmin Yaraigoy, and then also a win over Bruna Brazil, which was a knockout. She's got back-to-back KOWs, and Angela Hill on the other side is a crafty veteran of the game, been around for everybody, and literally fought everyone. I say she's the ultimate gatekeeper. Now she's 38 years of age. Gomes on the other side is 23. So it's like you have the argument of, Hill being past the prime. You have then the argument of Gomes way too early in the game. I really feel like Angela Hill to out kickbox her is live. I'm going to say she gets it on the judges' scorecards. I don't see her getting knocked out. Angela Hill's got a very good chin.
Bruna Brazil and Yasmin, those are great victories, AJ. I do like Gomez in this fight. Angela Hill is a veteran, and Angela Hill is definitely, going to be able to use her experience here. I got to hang out with her a little bit at UFC Gym Huntington Beach this summer and watch her teach. I mean, at this point, she really does have a great grasp on mixed martial arts, because for the longest time, she was seen as like the striker who's trying to learn grappling. Nowadays, she's a true mixed martial artist. She's a true UFC caliber fighter. It's just that she's one of those gatekeepers. And will Gomez get through the gate? Brother, after those finishes that she's on, I do think she's a more talented striker. She's the one on the up and up. She's got to be feeling confident. It's a good fight. Gomez knockout or decision. I got to go with Gomez.
Respect you on the other side, my man. The odds for Gomez, she's a slight favorite at -120, with Angela Hill as a +100 underdog in this spot. Now, Hill to win by a decision, what is that sitting at? +125. Gomes by decision, +185. And then a Gomes win by KO is +300. You betting it, Mike? What do you think? Betting it against the OG? Is it worth touching it at -120?
Dude, how many women's MMA fights do I bet on every year? I could count on one hand, brother. I don't do too many. No, I'm rooting for Angela Hill too, so I don't want to bet against Angela Hill. Come on, she's very, very cool. I don't want to be rooting against her. I'd rather be watching it and rooting for her. But yeah, it's something to consider. I mean, I don't like that you're picking Angela Hill either. Maybe I'll stay home on this one, AJ.
That's fair. That's fair. Listen, I think that she has a viable shot. Close money line fight. It's just hard for me to forget about the win over Lupita Godinez for Angela Hill, which I think was, a pretty awesome W over a girl who's a big prospect. And Denise Gomes, I don't know if she has those skills yet. I mean, she's looked awesome in the past too, but let's see against Angela Hill. This is the biggest test of her life. And I personally am going to say she doesn't pass it, but we're also in Brazil, so we'll see what happens. She might get the fire inside in Brazil.
I think so, brother. Come on, AJ. These Brazilians are going to do well on this card.
I think for the most part, you're probably right. Let's keep running. Next fight on the card, it's Vitor Petrino versus Modestas Bukauskas. Listen, I have to pick Petrino in this fight here. I think he is an athletic specimen and an absolute muscle mass monster. The dude is strong as hell and has a competent jiu-jitsu game. And he also has that nuclear option. He's a heavy-handed guy. Now, he's still raw. He's only 26, and at light heavyweight, that's very young. Granted, Bukauskas is not old either. He's a 29-year-old fighter, and I think that he has a decently well-rounded game, but he's much more flat than Petrino. I don't think he's going to have the physical tools to keep up with him on the ground specifically, and I think Petrino gets on top of Bukauskas and knocks him out with ground and pound. I'm going Mark Coleman style, ground and pound, the godfather, Petrino, baby, the grandson.
Mark Coleman style, because Petrino's strong as shit. So he's just going to get out there and bully somebody, huh? Dude, I'm worried about the striking with Bukauskas. Bukauskas has decent hands, AJ. You think Petrino is going to just lay him out with one shot? Or do you think Bukauskas could give him a fight? Because I think that on the feet, this is a fight. I think with Petrino in the top position, like you're saying, ground and pound, it's over with. But Bukauskas could put shots together. I think Bukauskas is a decent test for Petrino. I'll double down with you for sure. We got to go with Petrino. He's a much harder puncher. He's much stronger. He's going to bully Bukauskas. But with that being said, Bukauskas is going to give him a run for his money until he goes on the mat. I don't live bet often, but as soon as Petrino gets if Petrino could take him down easy, this is a wrap.
I think that's what it's about. I'm not impressed by Bukauskas' athleticism either, which is a big reason why I think Petrino's going to be able to close the gap on him, get a hold of him, drag him down, and beat him up. I think Bukauskas, if you look at the wins, like, I don't know, beating Zach Paunga, all right, getting a win over Tyson Pedro. It's like they're decent W's to have in his UFC return. It's a good win nonetheless, but nobody's a specimen like Petrino that he's taken on recently. And I do think that the Brazilian's got some skills, man. I think he's still raw and developing. He's so young, but I expect him to be able to beat Bukauskas.
All right, fair enough. We're on the same page, AJ. Let's go with Petrino. I just think it'll be a tougher fight than you do.
Respect. Minus 193 for Petrino with Bukauskas at plus 168. Now, Petrino to win by KO is plus 215 with a sub at plus 375. I think he's live to get it done with ground and pound. I can see him dropping some bombs on Bukauskas, which that could definitely also open up a submission, though.
It could. I could see this fight finishing for sure. I mean, if you guys are interested in betting on this one and you're really confident in Petrino, you're not crazy, but it depends on the odds. AJ, hit me with them.
Minus 195 around for Petrino, minus 193 money line.
Yeah, those are not crazy. I think the bookies are giving Bukauskas a little bit of respect for the striking.
As they should, because Bukauskas can definitely sit in there and kickbox. I just think the power difference, the physicality difference, ultimate difference makers. We're going with Petrino for the W. And let's keep running. Next fight on the card, it's Elizeu Zaleski versus Rinat Fakhretdinov. I really like this fight, man. Holy hell. Fakhretdinov's an underrated guy right now. I think that he's terrifying, but he's on the prelims. He's fighting in Brazil. They're kind of giving him the hard route to the top. They're not rushing him up the ranks. He doesn't have the same push on him like a Shavkat Rakhmonov or like a Khamzat Chimaev did. But I think Fakhretdinov seems to have a top 15, top 10 caliber skill set. I definitely think he's a good fighter. And fighting Elizeu Zaleski right now, good matchup. It's a hard fight for sure. Zaleski is, towards the twilight of his career. I think that Fakhretdinov is going to be able to strike with him and could potentially get him down. I'm picking Fakhretdinov to win over Elizeu Zaleski. I think he can get it. I think he can take him out.
Ulysses says, awesome costumes. We appreciate it. Goku with another sticker. Goku, you're blessing us tonight. Thank you so much. Look, I think this fight is great. You have to look at it as striker versus grappler. Fakhretdinov wants to get that clinch, wants to drag this thing to the ground. Zaleski's going to be live on the feet. This will be a really fun one to watch. You can imagine Zaleski going for a KO here, AJ. I think it will be exciting. But I agree with you. Fakhretdinov should be able to grind, should be able to put some takedowns together. This is a good one, though. I'll definitely be excited to see what he does with Zaleski. I think Fakhretdinov hits these takedowns. I agree with you.
Let's go. We're going Fakhretdinov to beat the tough vet in Zaleski. Now, as far as the odds, Zaleski's a plus 265 dog, with Fakhretdinov as a minus 315 favorite.
It's not a terrible dog. He's dangerous.
I think he's dangerous, man, because you see him knocking Rinat Fakhretdinov out after a split decision over Abu Bakar, where it's too close. I can't see it, man. I think we're talking Zaleski 3-4 years ago. Maybe I'm saying something different, but right now against prime Fakhretdinov, I think Zaleski's getting ran out of the room, man.
Ran out of the room. AJ with the confidence tonight. I'm glad somebody's confident in these picks. Yeah, I see the split decision over Abu Bakr and Magomedov there in the last one. I think he's a better striker, and I do think he could have moments. But you're right. I don't think he finishes Fakhretdinov. No, I think Fakhretdinov weathers whatever storm and hits key takedowns and gets some key damage off on the ground and in the clinch.
Listen, maybe I'm upset with Zaleski last time taking out my guy Abu Bakr Nurmagomedov, who at the time I locked over Zaleski. So we got to get vengeance with the OV. We got another OV we're throwing at him. I set this up. I called the UFC. I said, "Listen, bro, Dana White, I'm matchmaking. I need a lock." I think Fakhretdinov takes him out.
Dana Blanco says Zaleski is my play of the month. The dude is so slept on. Brother, good luck. I mean, salute to you. You know what I mean? I don't know that we're sleeping on him. I just think we're watching his fights and trying to assess him against such a good grappler.
I agree. And I don't think he's taking out Fakhretdinov. I don't believe it. We're going Fakhretdinov for the W, Mike Finch. I'm excited for this fight. I do think, he's live on the ground. A win by sub form is plus 265. Win by decision plus 200 with a KO at plus 265 as well. Money line's a little wide at minus 315 for sure, but I see him getting the win, Mike Finch. I don't think 38-year-old Zaleski's beating my guy Fakhretdinov. I don't see it.
Yeah, Fakhretdinov probably grinds out the decision. This will go all three.
Let's go. Let's keep running up. Next fight on the card, we have Daniel Marcos versus Victor Hugo. One of my most exciting fights on the card. I got this down with a star on it. I'm picking Victor Hugo to upset Daniel Marcos. You have a battle of two guys that are exceptional prospects right now. Hugo coming off of Dana White's Contender Series, getting a win, an impressive finish via submission for him. And then on the opposite side, you have a really good fighter in Daniel Marcos. But let's be honest here. A lot of people felt the decision against Davy Grant could have went the other way. Now, that doesn't really play into factor with the style of Hugo. Hugo definitely has striking. I mean, his nickname is Striker, and he's a very good athlete, but his grappling onslaught is dangerous. Knee bar win in his last fight. And if you look, he's been locking subs up. I mean, he won by heel hook the fight before that. And, I think he's a guy that can do it all. I believe he's got 8 wins by knockout, 9 wins by sub. I have it written down somewhere here. I should probably have my statistics on the screen so I don't have to count them.
I'm on Tapology, but I can't scroll with these gloves on, bro. I just cannot. I have no stats.
That's funny as shit. Oh, yeah. Spider-Man can't scroll, bro.
I can't scroll, man. I could hang on to some buildings, but using a laptop, not happening.
I guess that's just the downfall of Spider-Man. Listen, I think Hugo is a great underdog. I've already bet on him. I think he's going to win the fight and upset Daniel Marcos. I'm not telling you go run out and bet the props. I will rather throw down a damn money line, dude. A damn money line.
Hugo is the replacement for Marcos. So Marcos has been on the card and Hugo's the one coming in replacing. True?
He's taken in, but Hugo was in camp training with Dana White's Contender Series fight and then got offered this fight very shortly thereafter.
I like Marcos in this one. Look, it was a really close fight with Davy Grant, but AJ mentioned those styles are not the same. I think Marcos could out kickbox him here. He's active, and I like that about Marcos. And 15-0?
Great record.
15-0, mostly knockouts. I think 8 knockouts. That's beautiful. He's on a roll. Davy Grant tried to derail him, but Davy Grant did get out-kicked in that fight. And I do think that this matchup will be a good one for Marcos. So give me Marcos. Give me decision. I like the underdog pick, though, AJ. Respect.
Thank you, bro. It's not a small dog either. Lines are right now plus 206 for Hugo to minus 241 for Marcos. Looking at win by decision for the side of Marcos, which is finished this call, it's plus 240. Hugo to win by a sub is sitting at the side of only plus 375. Listen, if you're throwing down on the dog like me, if you like the underdog here, I think you're money lining it. I think Hugo's a great underdog and he's very live, but I do recognize Mike Finch is on the side of Marcos, and it's because Marcos is a good fighter. Marcos is a nice prospect. I just feel something from Hugo, man. I think he's got some goods here. I think he's got a tricky style to deal with, man. Experienced Brazilian. So great fight.
Yeah, great fight. This will be a really good one, a really important one for Marcos. I mean, he's just starting to burst onto the scene. He can't be having split decision with Davy Grant. He's got to come out there and put on a performance. I think this could be an opportunity to do so.
11, 12, 13. We got 13 wins in a row, too, for Hugo. Ain't that something, man? Holy
That's a beautiful
shit.
Streak, bro. You're a fan. You like this kid.
I like the skills. I don't know. I got the rub after the Contender Series. This guy's got something. I'm going with the side of Hugo. Finch on Marcos. Let's keep running. Next fight on the card, we have our featured prelim of the night. It's Elves Brener versus Esteban Ribovics. Mike, I think that the side of Elves Brener can beat Esteban Ribovics in a very competitive 3-round fight. Brener's a good, scrappy dog type fighter. He can clinch up and grapple fairly well, and he's constantly coming forward. Ribovics does have good punch combinations, and I like his flurries inside, but I just feel like the grappling advantage definitely lies with Brener, and the fact that he beat Garam Kutateladze last time out, showed zero quit in a fight he was losing and then winning it in the 3rd round, crumbling Garam. That's a huge win. I'm picking Brener, man.
Damn, this is another good one. I like Brener. I like that he's Brazilian. I think the Brazilians are going to have a good night. But yeah, he's up against interesting tests, man. I think Esteban's dangerous too. How many knockouts here? I mean, Esteban finishes fights. He's very, very powerful. Yeah, we got 50% knockouts, 6 knockouts, 5 submissions. What a finisher, dude. So if you're thinking like picking the under on this one, that's possible, brother. You got Brener finishing it?
I think it's possible that he finishes it, and I don't think you're crazy for calling it. I'd lean betting-wise on the money line. Officially, I think it could go the 3, though.
The whole chat right now is saying this fight is canceled. Are you guys lying to us?
I've searched. I was just looking at Twitter because I saw that. I don't see anything about it. Where are you guys getting this information? Please tell me.
Are you guys on fake news again? We got to teach our people how to figure out what's true in this world. How do you know if something's true? Believe in things based on evidence. All right. First principles approach, quit thinking by analogy, try to reason up from first principles, and then use the scientific method. If you do those things, you'll find the truth. Don't lie to us, chat.
I can't find any proof that it's canceled. I've searched the web. I don't know what Twitter pages they're following, man.
Not the right ones. No, maybe it is. I don't know. All right. If it's still on, I'll double up with AJ, but no bet, folks. If you're going to bet, the under honestly looks good to me. These guys are going to go at it.
I think Elves Brener, I'm going to call the W. I like Finch calling the violence call because I hope to see a violent fight. Odds -161 Brener, +141 for Ribovics. So we're in for a scrap. We're in for a good one. Under 2.5 is +125, my man.
All right. Daniel Covert's upset that we didn't see his dono. I didn't even see it. All right. He asks, it was a heartfelt question. Why don't you guys interact with the chat anymore? Because, Daniel, you are talking about anything but what we are talking about. I tried to bring up a couple comments about the fights that we're talking about. If you guys have relevant comments about the fights we're talking about and we can keep this show on the road, I'll find you guys. Most of the time, you're talking about how tight my Spider-Man costume is, which, yes, for the ladies, it is tight. But we got to talk about Elvis Brener and how he's going to get this W. Thank you for the donation, Daniel.
Thank you, Covert, my guy. Yeah, listen, Covert's used to the live stream Q&As where I'm answering pretty much every comment. When he comes here, I know he wants them answered. Listen, guys, we got the Q&As coming where everything's all about answering the chat. Me and Finch are chatting it up too, guys. Come on, give Finch some time.
Dana Blanco earlier, he had a good comment. He said, he disagreed with us, and that's good. We like it.
We respect the disagreement. Listen,
yes,
this fight here is good. And I hope it's not canceled. I can't find anything saying it's canceled. We'll find out in the coming days. As of right now, it's still on. And I'm picking Elves Brener to get the W over Esteban Ribovics, man. Good fight.
I feel like picking a dog here, but I'm going to side with AJ. Let's go. Elvis Brener. And I think this fight finishes early. He got a nice knockout over Garam Kutateladze. Brother, I could see a knockout here because these guys are going to go for it.
It's going to be a scrap. Next fight is our first fight on the main card. If you guys haven't, make sure you smash that like button. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe. It's Ismael Bonfim versus Vinc Pichel from hell. I'm picking Bonfim to win by KO. And if Bonfim doesn't get the KO, I think that the hype on the prospect has completely died. He got a big win over Terrence McKinney, and then he ran into the French wrecking ball, which is Benoit Saint-Denis, and ended up losing against the big underdog Benoit in that fight. This is a different stylistic matchup. I think Pichel is going to be willing to strike with him, and I think if he does look to engage grappling, not going to be easy to get Bonfim to the floor. I think he can knock out the 41-year-old. I think Bonfim's going to win by KO. He should win by KO in Brazil. So I'm going Bonfim, the striker, the explosive knockout artist, to get an emphatic KO.
Bonfim is a phenom. The Bonfim brothers are on the rise. I think this is the beginning of hearing about these guys. I think this is the beginning of people cashing nice bets on these guys. Now, the problem is the bookies see it too, but you got to like them on this card. I'm on Bonfim train all day. I think a knockout is very likely here. So we'll go on it, and we'll go on it heavy.
Looking at the chat, we got a dono. Look at our guy, Ali Point VTV with the $2. Drop a dono for the Iron Knee and Spider-Man.
The Iron Knee. Go on. Is this like a wrestling? I don't watch any wrestling. I saw you guys upset. We were even talking about boxing. Hello, it's the UFC heavyweight champion boxing. It's relevant. But anyway, I don't watch Iron Knee. Is this going
Iron
over my head?
Knee, the flying knee joke from the
Got it.
incident a few weeks
That's
back.
AJ's legendary bar fights in Florida.
Yes.
Got it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. I'm bored now.
Let's go. Ali Point VTV. Let's go. Mike, we're both going Bonfim for the win. Now, as far as the odds for it, like you already had stated, they're very wide, and the bookies are on to Bonfim. He's a minus 465 favorite, with Pichel as a plus 365 underdog. I do think Bonfim is going to knock him out. The KO for Bonfim is plus 200. So surprising plus money on the KO prop with a KO artist over, the nearly 41-year-old Pichel.
Yeah, 41-year-old Pichel against Bonfim, man. I think Bonfim's going to put on a sick performance, brother. Hit me with these wide-ass lines.
Minus 465 for Bonfim.
Yeah, it could still make a parlay. It's nice, man. I'm very impressed. Bonfim brothers are a problem.
I think Bonfim, he's going to get the KO. I'm going Ismael Bonfim, as is the Finch man. He's putting Pichel unconscious. And let's keep running up the card. Next fight on it, we have Rodolfo Vieira versus Armen Petrosyan. Striker versus grappler right here. I'm going with Petrosyan, the striker. I think he can stop Vieira's grappling onslaught. Look at Vieira's last fight. It was against Cody Brundage. And let's be honest, the aging of that is not too good because Brundage has taken some bad losses in the UFC. Now, Vieira was dropped in that fight by a big overhand by Brundage, did end up getting the finish win. But nonetheless, I think Armen Petrosyan striking his levels above and his length, even though he doesn't have the longest to reach, his length with his legs and kicking from the outside is a dangerous factor here against Rodolfo Vieira, who I definitely think is going to look to tie up with him. I think Petrosyan can defend the grappling onslaught for Vieira. So I'm going to pick Petrosyan to win. I think he might knock him unconscious too.
Yeah, and you're getting even odds here too. So AJ hit the nail on the head here because Rodolfo Vieira absolutely needs a takedown to win this fight. It would be more shocking than Francis Ngannou beating Tyson Fury via decision if I were to see Rodolfo Vieira knockout, right? I do think, I mean, he could do it from full mount, but you guys get what I'm saying. On the feet, Armen Petrosyan should dominate this fight. So Rodolfo Vieira needs to get it to the ground. I mean, it's not like Rodolfo Vieira is the best wrestler in the world. He's just very heavy on top, very good at jiu-jitsu. I got to like Armen Petrosyan here a lot, especially because the odds are even.
Even odds. A fight that Petrosyan, I think, can shine in, man. Rodolfo Vieira is improved with his stand-up, but he's still pretty flat on the feet, man. He's a flat striker on the feet. He doesn't have a ton of knockout power. I think he's a big dude, so he can generate some force, but not going to KO a kickboxer like Petrosyan. Striking from the outside, I think Petrosyan rips him apart, and I'll be surprised to see Vieira land some takedowns, specifically in the open mat. The way Vieira wins this fight, he has to get the back of Petrosyan against the cage, I'll call it.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think Petrosyan will be able to dominate the center of the cage. I mean, Petrosyan should outkick him. Takedown defense should be on point. How many times has he defended? That's what he's doing. He's striking and defending takedowns. Rodolfo Vieira doesn't present the types of problems that'll get the fight to where Rodolfo Vieira needs it. You know, he needs to be more of a threat on the feet. He needs to be more of a threat with his takedowns. If he gets to the top position, yeah, this shit could go sideways. But in a 15-minute fight with Armen Petrosyan, if he doesn't win 2 out of 3 rounds, I'd be really surprised. I like this Armen Petrosyan fight. I like this pick. Let's go Petrosyan, AJ.
Odds are even, Stevens. Minus 114, minus 106. So technically, Petrosyan's a very slight underdog right now.
Yeah, okay, perfect.
It's a money line fight.
Tell me, Finch didn't pick underdogs. Good. I'll take the littlest Chihuahua dog in Armen Petrosyan Take it to the bank.
Take it. Listen, at the end of the day, if you're getting them right, what can they say? You know what I'm saying, Finch? It's all about getting them right. I think Petrosyan wins.
About that. And how many locks have you gotten right in a row, AJ? Are you on a streak?
9 in a row, baby.
9 in a row, folks. Folks, hear me out. AJ's on a 9-lock streak, and it's not just a coincidence. AJ's been giving you guys his highest confidence locks. He had a little bit of a mental shift. It was always highest value for the longest time on the show, right? You were always going with high value locks. Now you're going most confident, and look at you, brother. You're making money. It's good. It's good. Another one, Petrosyan, and the value's nice.
Let's go. Petrosyan for the W. And he's a great money line as close as the lines are sitting. Next fight, we have Caio Borralho versus Abus Magomedov. Let's go. This one's going to be interesting. I'm picking Abus Magomedov to beat Caio Borralho. Listen, Mike Finch, I'm saying it right now. I'm back on the OV train. I took a little hiatus, and I said to myself after, UFC 294, what am I doing? I can't fade the EVs and OVs. They're the side that I got to lean towards. Those are my people, man. I got a little DNA from that region. You know what I'm saying? So I'm riding with Magomedov to beat Borralho. This is going to be my argument right here. Borralho's got some nice wins coming in, but Magomedov's last fight was against a world champion, and he did win the first round. Now they can say, well, he gassed. He looked like shit afterwards and got ran over. Fair assessment. But does that mean it's a guarantee to happen here? Things can go wrong in the cage, but what if they all go right? I think Magomedov is a terrifying kickboxer, and I think he's a guy that's being slept on because of a loss to the world champion. Caio Borralho is a good striker and obviously exquisite with the grappling game. He's a karate-esque stand-up fighter. But I think Magomedov is more vicious on the feet. I think he can stop takedowns, and I think he could outstrike Borralho here. So I'm going Magomedov for the upset win. I think the lines are crazy here.
Man, it's going to be tough for him to bounce back, AJ. I'm just wondering about what type of mindset he has going to Brazil and fighting a Brazilian after he went to Vegas and fought a Vegas man. You know what I'm saying? Florida man would suit Sean Strickland better, but Vegas man will take.
Yeah.
The chat's going back and forth on this, by the way. I see all you guys picks back and forth. I got people on Caio. I got people on A-Bus. Dana Blanco, a plane, a car? No, it's a bus. All aboard. Look, a bus has been stopped. It got stopped by Sean Strickland. He looked good. The bus was rolling, but Sean Strickland was able to break him. And when I see somebody break the bus, like Conor McGregor throwing a damn dolly through the window, I wonder about how that bus is going to keep driving. And a bus is definitely going to be up against a real test here. This is not an easy fight. Caio Borralho is excellent at jiu-jitsu, and he's, in his prime. He's dangerous. He's in Brazil. This is a good fight, a really tough fight. It's a hard one for me to personally predict. I think Magomedov's a better striker. He's huge. AJ's huge. He's a big dude. He has the skills to beat Caio. Damn, it's a good fight. No way I'm betting on this fight, AJ. I think Magomedov would be my pick without seeing that Sean Strickland fight. After seeing the Sean Strickland fight, this thing is up in the air. If you make me pick, like I'm on a pick show, I kind of have to make a pick. I'll go Magomedov, but I have real reservations about where his head's at.
Listen, Mike Finch, shout out to Magomedov. I'm doing an under the desk CBD Lion Ripskis just for the Magomedov side to wish us luck as we head in to the odds section. All right.
AJ's turning up. The chat's like, Mike's high. No. All right. No, I have this much enthusiasm without drugs, folks. AJ, on the other hand, he's getting fucking, I don't know what's going on down there. Listen, it's not an incense burner, okay? That is not for the scent of the room. All right, folks? We're going to both be on Magomedov, but brother, Caio Borralho's game.
Listen, Caio Borralho's game, and I respect anybody on his side, but I don't like the betting odds for Caio Borralho. He's minus 250 now as a favorite, but he was way wider. He was as wide as minus 425. He was in the minus 350 range. It seems as though the side of Abus Magomedov has become a popular underdog. He's a plus 210 dog after opening up at plus 355. I think he's a live underdog. I think he's a winnable underdog. I'm going to pick him to get it done. I like the big plus. Now, at the end of the day, I recognize Borralho's a difficult test, but I'm not jumping ship on Abus. That's just how I feel. If I'm picking against him, I'm jumping ship. I ain't jumping ship, Mike Finch. I'm not.
AJ's not a ship jumper, bro. He's the fucking captain. AJ goes down with the ship. You know, they say women and children first. It's AJ last, all right? AJ's sticking with it. That's loyalty, brother.
I'm sticking with my guy. Listen, we're doing it. We're riding with the side of Magomedov. Finch, man, going Magomedov too, which that surprised me. I didn't think you were going to go Magomedov here, but I'm glad.
I did it. You know, I think Magomedov is just so physically, he has such physical tools, and he's going to be probably able to outstrike Kauê. So now it's up to Kauê to take him down. That's a tall test. It'll be a good fight, man. I can't wait. This is probably my most anticipated fight of the card.
I agree. Let's keep running. Next fight on the card. It's our featured bout. It is Rodrigo Nascimento versus Don'Tale Mayes in the rematch of the century. We wanted to see it again after they faced off. I'll be honest, I never even thought of a rematch between these two. I was shocked to see it, but here we go again. Nascimento Mayes 2. The fuck you want from me? I'm gonna pick Nascimento. I'll pick him again.
Pay-per-view fight, brother. What are you talking about? They can't sell out the Dallas Cowboys Stadium with Nascimento Mayes 2. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Listen, I don't think they can sell out a local high school stadium with this fight, to be honest. As a main event,
I think they could.
They
first
could.
Of all, you know they could. Okay. First of all, admit you know they could. Secondly, heavyweight fight live. Yeah, they sell some tickets. Look, this is the fight that people wanted. I don't know what your problem is.
AJ staring at something. Ain't the chat. The Bob, I see you. Let me acknowledge you. I see the fucking roar in chat right now. Listen, I just don't
piss.
They
want every comment out here. Look, guys, we appreciate you tuning in live. Believe it or not, most people don't. Believe it or not, but we appreciate everybody who tunes in live. That's awesome.
Listen, bro. I think that Nascimento on the ground is going to win by submission like he did the first time. What am I supposed to take from Don'Tale Mayes? I've picked him in the past and been irritated. I've picked against him and been irritated. It's things go sideways with the Mayes side. So I'm not running out and betting Nascimento, who is not an overly impressive heavyweight. It's just, okay, Mayes knocks out Andrei Arlovski, and now I'm supposed to believe that he's the KO king. I don't fucking buy it. I'm going Nascimento to do what he did last time and win by sub.
The KO King is headlining the card, folks. All right. Yeah. You might hand it off to Pavlovich or, Francis Ngannou. There's a couple big punchers in the heavyweight division, but Derek Lewis certainly has an argument. So that guy's on the card and he's in the main event. Look, Mayes has a shot. I mean, Mayes has the classic, Chael Sonnen loves this, the puncher's chance. Mayes has the puncher's chance, but Nascimento should be able to get to the top position. And when he does, this will be a wrap, man. I think Nascimento will beat his ass. Nascimento, probably a submission.
The odds for the fight, Nascimento is a -175 favorite with Don'Tale Mayes is a +150 underdog. Yeah, man. I'm going Nascimento. Betting it, I'm not crazy about because of the fact we got big heavyweights. Nascimento's got 2 split decision wins in a row. He got knocked out in 40 seconds by Chris Daukaus. But Nascimento by sub is +225. Isn't it kind of crazy? When Chris Daukaus knocked out Nascimento, it seemed like Daukaus was next up, and now he's lost how many fights in a row by KO, right?
But look at the matchups. I mean, sure. Chris Daukaus is not fighting no cans.
No, he's not. It's just kind of crazy to see how the career trajectory turned out for a guy.
They're like, all right, kid, you want your shot? You're quitting your day job as an officer. What was he, a firefighter? He did something.
Police officer, actually.
Police officer. All right, you're going to quit your job. You're all in. Try out the top of the division. It ain't easy. It ain't an easy way to make a living, folks.
No, absolutely not. Listen, Nascimento sticking around. I'm saying he's getting the sub. The odds for sub, I'm going to read off again, but I honestly am not crazy about it. It is +225. It's just I think he could win by sub like he did the first time.
Yeah. I think so too. Rear naked strangle sounds pretty good. I think if he gets to the top position, a TKO with some elbows to the side of the head look nice. Don'Tale Mayes probably will turtle up and stay on his hip. Don'Tale Mayes, not the most dynamic grappler we've seen. He'll have some problems on the feet. Dana Blanco, no one's talking about how Don'Tale took out John Jones. He's going to breeze through Nascimento. What is he talking about, bro?
He's talking about the injury to
Talking
John
about the
Jones
injury?
was when he was looking to take down Dante Mays.
That's so sad, bro. Oh man, I watched that a couple times too. I really couldn't see like why the pec tore. It was pretty normal. He jacked up and underhook and cut an angle as John Jones does. John Jones will shoot into you, and then as you sprawl, he runs around your body. Hamzat does this very well too. I don't know. It was a crazy injury video, right? It wasn't a normal one where you're like, "There's the injury," and it's obvious. It didn't seem like anything happened out of the ordinary. What a sad thing to have that Stipe Miocic fight off for John Jones.
You know what? Isn't that something? The Stipe Miocic fight falls through. Francis Ngannou wins or loses a split decision, but wins in the people's eyes the same week, man. That's crazy.
Yeah. All right. Well, we acknowledged it there, Dana. There you go. And man, I think I think John Jones would also beat him, by the way.
Let's go. You think John Jones would beat who?
Either of these gentlemen.
Yeah.
Back to back, same night.
I agree with that. Listen, I'm picking Nascimento as his Finch. Let's get to the damn co-main event. We got a great fight. We have Gabriel Bonfim versus Nicholas Dalby. Shit. Bonfim is in a spot where if you beat Nicholas Dalby and you finish him, it's like, oh, we got to watch out for this guy. So they're giving him that true gatekeeper, but like the savage gatekeeper. Nicholas Dalby's been in the UFC for a long while, and it's not like he isn't getting wins. If you look at the last few for him, win over Muslim Salikov, win over Warley Alves, win over Claudio Silva. Most recent loss is to Tim Means. You know what? I'll say this. Tim Means is an absolute savage vet. Now, I think Bonfim at 15-0 is going to win against Nicholas Dalby, and I do think he's live to get a submission. Now, he's also, got a dangerous stand-up game, but he's been locking up subs against everybody that he's facing off against. And I think that energy continues. I think he strangles Dalby in this fight. I think it could be in the first round. We've seen Dalby subbed against Jesse Ronson. Sure, Ronson popped for steroids afterwards, but he was finished in that fight. That's something that people probably do forget. And I think Bonfim is going to sub him.
I think so too, man. Bonfim is one of these rare talents where he is one of the true finishers in the UFC. I mean, he's going through there and submitting guys, knocking guys out in the first round, first couple minutes. It's hard for people to even last with this guy. You know, it's one thing to try to win. It's another thing where people go in there and they're like, is this guy going to finish me? Can I even make it to the third round? They start fighting a little different. So I believe in Bonfim. Of the Bonfim brothers, we're looking at the better brother here. Undefeated, and it'll be a big problem for Nicholas Dalby. Nicholas Dalby is good. He's very competent, but he's been in many competitive fights, right? You're not seeing that with Bonfim. This is a step up for Bonfim, but as the odds makers have figured out, it is definitely one that he should be able to handle. Bonfim strangles likely, but knockouts there too. This is going to be a big time for performance for him. In Brazil, let's go guillotine again.
Guillotine again. I like the guillotine call. I see him strangling Dalby. Now the odds agree. He is a minus 600 favorite over Nicholas Dalby, who's a plus 450 dog. Bonfim to win by sub, though, sits at plus 125. I think he's live for that sub prop, plus 125. You got a little plus money, even though he's a minus 600 favorite.
Yeah, I'll take Gabriel Bonfim, but I don't want to get you guys away from Moneyline betting. Because I think he's live for a KO. Couldn't you see Bonfim also getting a knockout here?
Maybe. I just think his sub game is what we're, knowing him for now. So I got to lean towards him to continue.
All right. So would you put your neck out on the line? And would you place a cash money bet? Or it's probably cryptocurrency at this point because you get better bonuses. But anyway,
yes.
Would you place value on a submission pick, or would you moneyline this?
Well, I wouldn't throw a 6-1 money line. I'd parlay a 6-1, maybe if I'm looking for a real high confidence call. If I was going to prop it, I'd go sub. At the end of the day, if I'm propping it, plus 125, so what, 50's going to get me like, plus 125. What do we got? 50 plus a little something. It ain't that much. You know what I'm saying? It ain't nothing crazy, but it's still plus money, and I think it's live.
I think so too, brother. I think so too, man. This is the most confident pick on the card. Give me Gabriel Bonfim by finish.
By finish. He's getting it done. And I think the prospect of him and moving up the ranks, Brazil's got a welterweight to keep an eye on. He seems to have the goods to be a contender. And I want to see more. Brazil, we need guys from Brazil. And I think that we got a dangerous guy right now that's going to showcase in the co-main event.
100%, man. This is a guy to keep your eye on. This is what makes this sport exciting. You've got a really well-rounded, really dynamic finisher. How do you not want to watch Gabriel Bonfim go at it?
Yeah, I agree, bro. Let's go. Let's keep running. Main event of the evening. If you guys haven't yet, make sure you smash that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. We got Jailton Almeida versus Derek Lewis, the main event of UFC Sao Paulo. I am picking Jailton Almeida, and I believe he is the boogeyman right now as far as the heavyweight division goes. You look at his record, 19-2 as a professional, riding, obviously, an unbeaten streak in the UFC. We look at the last couple. Jairzinho Rozenstruik, who he submitted in the first round. Prior to that, beat Shamil Abderrahimov, dropped some ground and pound on him, and then took out Anton Turkali. As you dig farther back, the competition level gets less impressive. Parker Porter. Danilo Marquez win. Marquez is a pretty good grappler, and Jailton ran him over. But ultimately, Derek Lewis has a recent loss to Sergey Spivak, who's a dangerous grappler, who he got taken down by, and he got arm triangled by. I think Jailton Almeida can do something very similar to that, and it wouldn't be crazy to see Jailton Almeida mount Derek Lewis and drop bombs on him from top. And I think it's going to be hard for Lewis to get Jailton Almeida off of him. Using the strength as he does, I feel as though the technique level from the side of Jailton Almeida is going to be way too much for Derek Lewis. So I'm going Jailton, brother.
Yeah, we got to go with Jailton Almeida here. Jailton Almeida is one of the only heavyweights who truly shows that he understands pins. When he gets takedowns on people like he just did against Jairzinho Rozenstruik, who has a lot of similarities to the Black Beast Derek Lewis. Look at what happened after that easy takedown that he got, which the commentators compared to Randy Couture taking down James Toney. Not exactly the hardest takedown to get, right? He gets to the top position and he goes chest to chest, palm to palm. He knows how to pin the shoulder blades of his opponent down to the mat while he works to pass. And then as you start posting to get up, he's slowly taking your back. He's slowly flattening you out. He knows how to control the far wrist. He's not just using pure like Gracie jiu-jitsu. He really does understand the hybrid mix of a wrestling MMA jiu-jitsu blend where you could really just control top position on somebody using pins like they do in wrestling. So I love it. I do think he's going to dominate this fight. The obvious roll of the dice is that Derek Lewis is extremely dangerous. Derek Lewis is one of the most dangerous fighters in the UFC. But if you want to make him less dangerous, you can make him tired. You can put him on his back. And those are two things that he's going to be able, that Almeida is going to be able to do. I think Jailton Almeida will not make the mistake of some other Derek Lewis opponents. That is when they get to the top position, they relax a little bit. Derek Lewis gets explosive and bucks him up. They say, Derek Lewis just stands up. Try to just stand up when you're in half guard underneath Jailton Almeida. It's not going to happen. You're going to see a much higher level of grappling when Jailton Almeida gets a hold of the Black Beast. And guess what, AJ? He's bigger than ever. Every time I see Jailton Almeida, he looks like he ate another lightweight. He just gets heavier and heavier. And I do think he has the size and the strength to deal with the very powerful puncher that is the Black Beast. Jailton Almeida all day in a 5-round fight, especially since Black Beast doesn't have the best cardio.
Look at that. We got a 1999 dono from our guy, Nicholas Brown. Love the content. Thanks so much for grinding it out every week, listening every week. Nicholas Brown, we love you. Thank you for that donation. We appreciate your support, my dog. Hell yeah. To the 1999. Listen.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Nicholas.
Finch,
appreciate you.
Mike Finch, you're on to something here. I think you're 100% right. I love Derek Lewis. I picked him last time. Everybody said I was crazy for picking him over De Lima, and he delivered. But now you give me the nightmare of a matchup, which is Jailton Almeida, who I think is a future contender in this division, who's an absolute menace in the grappling department. I just feel as though at this point of Derek Lewis's career, this is the worst matchup possible for him, especially on short notice. I got Almeida to win, taking Derek Lewis down and submitting him. Now, it's going to be interesting. Does Derek Lewis show up a little bit leaner like he did last time out on short notice, or do we get fat Derek Lewis back? That's something we'll find out on Friday, so make sure you guys tune into the weigh-in recap show.
Plug it, AJ. Plug the weigh-in recap show. AJ's here working for you guys. Look, Derek Lewis did look better in his last fight. He did have a resurgence. You could see he actually hit the road and started jogging. He started looking at what he's putting into his body, and I respect that. I do think that he's more dangerous for that. I don't think that's going to make the difference, man. I don't care what Black Beast shows up. I'd still pick Jailton Almeida on Derek Lewis's best day. That's how much faith I've had in Jailton from the beginning. Jailton Almeida is a future title challenger.
The odds for the fight, minus 450 for Jailton Almeida with Derek Lewis is a plus 350 underdog. Looking at the side of Jailton Almeida to win via submission, minus 110, and then Jailton Almeida to win by sub in the first round sits at plus 175. Does he have a chance for a ground and pound KO, though? Would you be shocked if he mounts Derek Lewis and Lewis doesn't turn his back and get rear naked choked?
Yeah, I wouldn't pick a finish here, guys. I think there are a couple favorites to put together if you want to get to even odds for betting. I do like Jailton by submission, though. That is my pick.
Let's go. Jailton by sub is my call, too. I'm looking forward to the fight. Goes down this Saturday, and I'm very happy to have UFC back, and I'm even happier that we're in Brazil. But Mike, the next section we got to jump to is the fame section, probably the fan favorite section. It is the lock of the night. Moneyline lock of the night for UFC Sao Paulo. Mike Finch, you're going first, my friend. What are you feeling this week as the lock?
Give me the little tiny dog. I took Armen Petrosyan. And I say that because the odds are sweet. And, you know, in the parlay, I'm going to put together some favorites that honestly, guys, I might straight money line bet myself. I'm not over picking a 4-1 favorite. Okay. If it's going to make me some dollars, it makes me some sense. You get me? I like Armen Petrosyan for my lock of the week because I think he'll stop the takedowns. I do think he'll beat up Rodolfo Vieira on the feet. 30-27 decision. Armen Petrosyan, lock of the week.
To make it 10 in a row for me, I'm riding a 9-lock streak currently. I have to stick with my initial gut. When I did the early pick show, I wrote down what my lock was going to be, and it's Fakhretdinov. At the end of the day, like Mike said, I'm picking my confidence. The line is not crazy. When I originally called it the lock to myself, it was minus 270 range. Now we're looking at minus 315. So not the juiciest of odds. I apologize, but I think it's going to be a win. I see him getting it done. I'm high confident that Fakhretdinov can beat a 38-year-old Elizeu Zaleski. The end of the day, I picked some good dogs on this card that I definitely like. Victor Hugo, obviously being a big one of them. And I thought to myself, man, do I risk it all? Do I throw it on the line with that? And then I said, you know what? Why am I going to lie to myself? I got my lock. If we're calling it a true lock that I think is going to come through, that isn't like stupid wide, like minus 600, it's got to be Fakhretdinov. I think that he's kind of being overlooked. I could see him at minus 400 here. I think he's a dangerous guy. I think he's not respected by the people enough. I think he doesn't have enough hype
some
on
people
him.
In the chat overlooking him, so we'll see.
Yeah.
But I like the pick there, AJ. Obviously, you and I were both on him. So if he gets these clinches and these takedowns and gets his game going, he'll dominate the fight. But yeah, interesting matchup. I like it. AJ, 10 streak in a row. There's a lot riding on the I can't even say his last name. Fakhretdinov. Sorry.
Fakhretdinov. That's funny.
Not quite Finch. You know what I'm saying? We're not all blessed with the easy short last name. I like Renat in this matchup. I do. So we're on the same page.
Let's go. Let's jump to the parlay section, Mike Finch.
All the competition that try to compete, stand back, watch the bomb drop.
Parlay time. Open up your wallets and let's bet on some fights. All right, guys, it's parlay time. Mike Finch, you're still the parlay king, my man. Tell me what you're cooking up this week.
Where's my sunglasses at? Here we go. Y'all want a fucking parlay? All right, Spider-Man just got a lot cooler, kids. Listen, I think that you've got to look at Jailton Almeida in this fight. Now, I know he's a big favorite, so let's look at Gabriel Bonfim. If you put those two together, at least you're getting a little bit decent odds, and those guys should dominate these fights. And I know what you're saying. You're saying, Finch, if I'm in a parlay, I need to get better odds. That's fine. You could put the Bonfim brothers together. So a Bonfim brother parlay, Add in Jailton Almeida, my 3 most confident picks on the card, and you might walk away with a little capital. And don't be scared about straight betting them either. If you don't like any of those, don't always sweat getting even odds, right? It's okay to make some easy money sometimes. And I do think those really feel like they are going to hit. A lot of these prelims are super competitive and super good fights. I'm going to take some that aren't. Bonfim brothers and Jailton Almeida.
Minus 126 for that trifecta. I like where your head is at there, right there with, close money, good play. I'm going with an underdog on my parlay. I'm going Victor Hugo, and I'm adding in the side of the big man at the top, Jailton Almeida. Now, I got plus 273 for that. It's honestly not as pretty as I would like, but I do think it ends up coming through. If you want to add in a Bonfim brother, I think that's a possibility. Ismael Bonfim and Gabriel Bonfim added in to add an extension to Finch's parlay. Now you got wild man odds. You got plus 447 for that 4-play, man. So just something to throw out.
That's something to look at there too, AJ. I appreciate that. Are you going to parlay more, or are you going to money line more on this one? Because I'm feeling like I'm going to throw down a couple money lines, one nice fat parlay.
Listen, like, you want my parlay of the week that I feel like would be my highest confidence parlay? I'm going to be honest. It's Renat Fakhretdinov, and I'll line it up with Jailton Almeida. It's minus 164. I see that hitting for sure. That's like the lock parlay. Yeah.
Damn, that's not bad. All right. I like your confidence in Renat. Maybe I'm overlooking it a little bit. I didn't include him in my favorite picks here. Come on, Gabriel Bonfim, you got to love. Jailton Almeida, you gotta love. So I'll look at putting a nice little parlay together, AJ. Maybe it'll hit for us. But I think if you guys are doing parlays, try to stick to 2 to 3. Those seem to hit very often. Bet responsibly. We're just telling you what we think. You got to make your own decisions. But for me personally, I really think some of these are mismatches.
Yeah, man. People in the chat asking, what do I like for the bets? Well, I already have a Victor Hugo bet placed, but I'm then thinking throw the steam down and, ride with the side of Jailton Almeida, Renat Fakhretdinov as a parlay that I like throwing down on. If you don't want to straight Renat, because minus 315, I get it. It's like, fuck, it's not the greatest line. Him and Jailton hits.
Exactly. And so it's always about, measuring your confidence versus the odds. And so that's why some of these parlays got to be made. I mean, my confidence in some of these straight money lines, very high.
I think so, man. I think they're going to hit. And I see people complain with the odds. Listen, you want a plus money, whatever. I think Victor Hugo's a live little something.
I respected that, dog, man. That's interesting. Me playing short notice, guys. I don't think you guys have ever seen it, But AJ says he's been in camp. I mean, sometimes the dogs bite.
I think I got a pit bull with Victor Hugo.
I agree with you 100%. So, I think it's a decent one. It's a decent dog bite. As far as me on this card, Petrosyan's as far as I'm going to go, and that's pretty much even money. But yeah, I like that one a little bit better, AJ. Interesting to see your confidence in a nice, I think it was 2.5 to a 2.5 dog. Is that right?
Plus 200.
Plus 200. Respect.
Let's go. Listen, Mike, it's been a pleasure chatting it up.
Happy Halloween, AJ.
Yeah,
AJ,
Halloween.
What Halloween parties we going to? What are you doing?
I'm going to one tomorrow.
Okay, on Halloween. So
On
Tuesday.
Halloween. Yeah.
There you go. I had a Sunday night party at my house, brother.
That's nice. There was a shooting at the area where I got jumped. Remember that same strip? There was like 18 people got shot the other night. Our Halloween party there.
Jeez, man, that's terrible. Sorry to hear.
Pretty
Maybe
great.
it's not your spot anymore.
I can go back. Yeah.
I feel like, you know what I mean? I feel like it's time to let that spot kind of. There's enough evidence now to know that the block is hot.
The block is hot. I think I'll avoid that spot and go somewhere classier, man.
You deserve it. Have a wonderful Halloween. I went to a Saturday party. I probably drank a little too much. Then I went to a Sunday, my own party on Sunday. Definitely drank too much. So it's Pedialyte and studying fist fights for me today. It's been a lovely one. And I didn't even have to wear these sunglasses, though. I'm good, folks. I'm a tank. Okay, I can handle it.
Listen, I look forward to it, man. Bare knuckle too. Going down this Friday.
Wednesday, right? We're going to record on Wednesday. It'll be out on Friday. We're picking bare knuckle fist fights.
Listen, we're bringing the heat with BKFC. Check out Bare Knuckle Bets on the BKFC.tv app and website. Don't miss that. And, I'll be dropping some bare knuckle picks too on Thursday during the late night live. So keep your eyes peeled. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the live stream, the breakdown, the podcast, the money line on a beautiful Monday with me and Mike Finch chopping it up. Make sure you smash that like button. And, if you're new, subscribe. If you're watching on replay, we see you. Much love to you on replay. Much love to everybody in the chat for talking with me, chatting it up. I'll do a live stream tomorrow at some point in the day. I'd like to do it, a little Halloween Q&A. So keep your eyes peeled on the channel for that, and I'll answer every damn comment per usual.
I appreciate every single one of you. I'll be in the chat when the fights are going on as usual. Have a phenomenal Halloween. Enjoy yourselves. Eat too much candy. And I will see you guys on Monday.
Peace. Everybody.